What if I tell you that your startup success depends on only one factor more than any other? That is to attract, engage, and retain the best people possible onto your journey. That is supported by research surveys conducted by leading VCs. But of course, we all know that. However, within early stage venture, it's far easier said than done. As a startup founder, you're always stretched on resources, managing multiple risks, and even when you're doing great, many externalities prevent you from attracting the best people onto your journey. My name is Omar Saleh. I'm co-founder and CEO of Khazna, one of Egypt's leading fintechs. We're building a digital bank for the underserved, who traditional banks cannot serve profitably. We started early 2020 and have raised over $40 million in capital from global investors. And today we serve 500,000 users. Our plan is to reach 10 million users within the next 3 to 4 years. But what I'm mostly proud of on our journey so far is the team we built of 400 top-performing professionals and the strong reputation for our distinct culture. We have been consistently ranked as a top talent attracting startup. As a co-founder and CEO, I had the privilege of building the team from scratch and to define and then redefine the company charter and culture with my co-founders and leadership team members on my so far 4-year journey. Today, I will share with you a few learnings on building the team that proved useful for us. The main idea here is that on your venture journey, it is about who you get on a journey with, as opposed to the journey itself. Some may think there's a lot of value in the initial idea, technology, first big contact, etc. While those are important, what really matters is the people, is your crew, and who you will end up spending a big part of your life with. All entrepreneurs go through so-called near-death experiences, including running out of cash, major competition risk, regulatory or legal risk, among others, in addition to the consistent day-to-day challenges. So you want a team that you can rely on during the rough waters and heavy storms of your entrepreneurial journey. And since you are the people you associate with, it is critical as early as possible into your journey to develop a list of people whom you want to work with and update that list and keep a warm contact with the people on the list. Yes, an actual list with a cool name that involves stalking people and is as weird, as nerdy as it sounds. Those on my list ended up being my early stage investors, leadership team members, advisors, and connectors to my now much more expanded network. Hiring the first 10 team members is very critical, and they have a big role on going and hiring the first 100, who go and set your company culture. And that culture becomes very hard to change after that. Now that you're set on starting or resuming your entrepreneurial journey, there are a few first steps to build your dream team. First, defining your venture's charter. It is critical to define the why, so as for you and others to be able to describe the impact of what you're building. You also need to define the key values and culture traits. This helps you narrow down prospective team members with similar value sets. Alignment on values is very critical. Also, defining failures helps people managing expectations. For example, at Khazna, there are only 2 types of failures: effort and integrity. Everything else is a learning experience. This helps us encourage our team to experiment and take decisions effectively. Then comes defining the team lineup. This starts with knowing thyself, namely what you're good at and what you need to complement yourself with. In my case, for example, I'm not super detailed oriented. So I needed my co-founders and leaders to complement that weakness. Then one looks at key building blocks, such as technology, credit risk, logistics. You need to then articulate the scope of those roles clearly in job descriptions. At this stage, one also needs to identify the resources one has to offer. This includes traditional ones, such as cash and equity, but also less traditional and more effective ones, such as purpose alignment, ownership, exposure to new sides of the business, personal, professional growth opportunities, title, etc. As a startup founder, you need to be a good listener, and you need to be creative with availing and allocated the resources that you have. When it comes to identifying talent, one should shoot for the stars. You'll be surprised how out of your league people are willing to join the journey because your purpose, impact, initial team, growth potential, etc. The best candidates are usually not after the immediate gain. Searching for talent starts with communicating with your list and looking for direct referrals. Those are usually the best hires. One should also use available channels to reach targeted populations. Also, use early team members to interview candidates, to validate culture fit, and to build the most important task, which is hiring new team members. Then reference check the hell out of people. A mix of respectful, warm, and cold references usually gets the job done. You'll be surprised how people want to give a good reference. And refusing to give a reference should be taken very seriously. Hire slow, especially for key roles, and don't compromise. It usually takes 6 to 12 months to hire the best candidates, and they usually have great options readily available. Once you decide on the candidate, hire very aggressively using all the resources you have access to, and be generous within reason. And don't overpromise. And after all, you will make mistakes. So learn to end the relationship fairly and respectively, admit your mistake, be generous, and offer to be a reference when possible. And stay humble. To retain the best team, one should plan on giving increasing ownership and offering growth avenues. Your role is to challenge and support your team. Yet at the organization scales, your role evolves and becomes the chief psychologist. So stay close, give and seek feedback. As you build a strong organization, your team members will be the target of other organizations of different shape and form. Although this is a good sign, your role is to fiercely retain your team, especially the high-performing team members, and especially if they're targeted by competition. It's a talent war out there. Finally, remember that the best way to retain top talent is to continue attracting top calibers and avoid tolerating lower than average performance. So that's really your talent flywheel. Purposefully plan and build an employer brand and a following. For example, we manage and monitor our talent-facing LinkedIn page, similar to our customer-facing Facebook page, bearing in mind the different audiences, but giving both enough attention. All this does not mean that your startup will be entirely protected from failure, but if there's one thing within your capacity to do, is to invest time, up to 50% of it, and effort into building the best team you can. You'll also get to have some fun along the journey. Thank you so much.